Senator from Florida, Marco Rubio. He is the acting chairman of the Senate's Select Committee on Intelligence. Senator, good morning to you. Great to have you here this morning.
Good morning, Sandra.
So the balance of power in the Senate will be decided just weeks from now. What is at stake here for your party?
Well, I think what's at stake for the country is the question. And I think it's the difference between some pretty radical policies and people on potentially a Biden cabinet and the ideas coming out of the Senate, because they're going to get rid of the filibuster. They're going to pack the court. They're going to try to unleash some version of a Green New Deal, which would wipe out millions of American jobs for hardworking Americans who would all suddenly be unemployed. I think it's the difference between the economic policies of raising taxes in the middle of a pandemic. So what's at stake here is hard to exaggerate, and that's why we need to win those races. And I'm confident we will. We have good candidates, and I think the people of Georgia understand what's at stake. That at the end of the day, what you're voting for is two people are going to come up here, and the first vote they will take is to make Chuck Schumer the majority leader. In essence, Georgia's voting for whether or not they want two Chuck Schumers representing them in the Senate. I think the answer to that question is going to be no.
You spent time specifically campaigning to the suburban voter in that state. How do you do that? How do you win them over?
Well, I think sometimes we seem to categorize people by where they live or the color of their skin. Here's what I think 90% or overwhelming percentage of Americans would agree on. We need to have an economy that creates good jobs with dignity for as many Americans as we possibly can. People want to live in safe neighborhoods. If a police officer does something wrong, they're not above the law. But by and large, the police does great things for our country. They want to fund the police department. They don't want to turn over our cities to rioters. They don't want to be fired from their job or ostracized by the society and canceled because of their political opinions. They don't want their kids being failed by an English professor because they don't agree with the professor's radical ideas. This is what people want, and they're going to support people that stand for those things. And so for me, I mean, that's the message that we take to all Americans. It's why President Trump got over 70 million votes. It's why the Republican Party has grown in states all across the country. And it's the people that have been left behind by this radical leftward turn of the Democratic Party that today considers Nancy Pelosi a moderate. Well, that tells you how radical they've become.
You're talking about changes in the Democratic Party, but when you look at your own party, and Senator, you've already gone on the record saying that you believe that the GOP needs a reset after 2020, a rebrand, if you will. What did you mean by that?
Well, I actually don't think we need a reset. I think what we need to do is make sure that all of those people that came into our party because of Donald Trump's work and message, because of the work we've done here in the Senate, that we don't suddenly walk away from them. The message that he's been hitting on for 4 years, the message that we've been working on here as well, is we are on the side of hardworking, everyday Americans who simply want to have an economy. They don't want to be told, for example, that, sorry, your job is going to China because that's how the free market works. We are for the free market. We're not for socialism. But our number one obligation is the best interest of the American people. We want an economy that works on behalf of the American people, that provides dignified work, that provides safe communities, and that largely respects the right of people to believe whatever they want and not have shoved down their throat the values of some producer in New York or some Hollywood director or some celebrity. They can believe whatever they want, but don't shove it down people's throat and stand up against people that bully you when you don't agree with them. That's what the overwhelming majority of Americans want, and that's what our party needs to be about.
Senator, I can't help but hear you and wonder if you are leaving the door open for a 2024 run yourself.
Well, look, I ran for president once, so clearly I'm not going to pretend I never had any interest in the office, but that's so far down the road. Right now, I have a job, and it's here in the U.S. Senate. I want to continue to serve the people of Florida moving forward. I'm on the ballot in 2022, so there's a lot of things going to happen between now and then. And so I know everybody's going to tell you that, but we're not even done with 2020 yet. So it's way too early to think about those things. I know I have a job now, and I'm going to continue to do it as best as I can.
So bring it back to the near term. Lindsey Graham was on our air this morning, and he was talking about just how hard he wants his party to work to make sure that you retain control in the Senate with the Georgia runoffs. Listen.
I'm going to do two things. Give $1 million to help them for my campaign and challenge every Republican who has a website in the Senate and the House, direct every donation to Georgia.
So you sound confident about what we're about to see happen there. But, Senator, what is your message to your party to get this done, knowing what you have just laid out is at stake for the country?
I don't think there's much convincing that needs to happen. I mean, I think people all across the country, and certainly my colleagues, understand what's at stake. I think the last 4 years have been an excellent lesson in civics in terms of the importance of the Senate, the role we play in our constitutional republic. So I think all we need to do now is just get people to do it. But I think everyone recognizes how important, and it's a rare situation. You have 2 Senate races up in one state, and they will determine whether there are 52 Republicans that can stand up against a radical left of center, in many cases socialist agenda, or not. And that's what's at stake here. People know it. I think the people of Georgia know it, and we're ready to work for that.
Senator, if, as we watch the president continues to engage in his legal battles in some of these key states, if that battle does not result in a second term for the president, what do you see his role in the party going forward?
Well, he'll be the dominant voice in Republican politics, whether he's president or not. I think that's pretty clear. 70 million people voted for him. Where I live in South Florida, he went from a 30-point loss in 2016 to only 7 in a county that's overwhelmingly Democrat. He's converted a bunch of people who have never voted before or used to vote Democrat are now Republicans or vote for Republicans. So I don't think, irrespective of the outcome, Donald Trump is going to be the most popular and the most influential Republican in the country for the foreseeable future. And the message and the issues that he focused on are going to continue to live on and be important to address, irrespective of the outcome, whether he's president or whether he's not. And that was going to be true now or 4 years from now.
Senator, real quick, final thoughts. Do you continue to support the president in these legal battles that he is mounting in some of these states like Michigan and Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I laugh when the Democrats complain about that. I remember in Florida, we had a close Senate election. Chuck Schumer and his party hired a bunch of lawyers and contested it for almost 20 days because that's what the law allows you to do. There's nothing the president's doing that's illegal or not within his legal rights. We have laws that govern this stuff. You get unofficial results on election night. States continue to count legal ballots. If there's a recount called for, that's what they do. Eventually, they have to move towards certifying that vote. And in the interim, if a candidate or anyone has evidence of fraud or something that was wrong and wrongdoing, you have a legal right to go to court and present that evidence. If you have it, you have it. And if you don't, then you know the answer. These states are going to start certifying elections at some point. And on December 14th, the Electoral College will elect the president. That's our laws. So I don't know what all the freak out is about. Joe Biden had hundreds of lawyers on standby ready to do all of these things had the outcome of the initial calculations been reversed. This is the way the system works. Let the system work so people can have confidence and our republic can move on.
Senator Marco Rubio, really appreciate the time this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.